Okay. Good morning. My name is Cynthia Styron Sanchez, and I will be discussing Chilean history and its way of showing the power of music. Where it all began. Chile's native styles of music are different in the north, south, and central part of Chile, especially within the ethnic groups like Mapuche and Aymara. Like many other Latin American countries, it was colonized by Spain, so the culture and the music and the traditions that evolved were mainly Spanish. The most known types of Chilean styles of music is la cueca, la tonada, and la nueva canción. La cueca. La cueca is the national dance of Chile. It is written with 14 verses, but only lasts around 2 minutes and sometimes less. The main instruments used is the guitar, the piano, and sometimes even an accordion. It is most of the time a very romantic and can touch on topics including geography and history. For example, there are many different kinds of la cueca, and so there's the cueca brava, which is one that is more structured and is more technical compared to the others, while there's la cueca norteña, which has no lyrics at all and just focuses on the instruments that are played. It's really funny because la cueca is compared to the aggressive state a hen takes when laying her eggs in front of a rooster. It is a really important part of the dance to have a handkerchief, and as the dancers are dancing, have really main and consistent eye contact. This dance mostly occurs in Las Fiestas Patrias in September, but there are places where it occurs every day, and I think that's really special. Augusto Pinochet was the dictator at that time, and like many aspects of Chilean culture, it was really overshadowed and became an important symbol of the oppression that he had from his rule. He would include the dance in his military parades and elections and everything, and eventually, due to all the human rights violations, they began to use the dance as a protest. Many people had family members who had been kidnapped and disappeared, so they began to dance la cueca as a solo, and that was a striking visual to many because it represented I don't have my partner, this isn't my fault, what am I gonna do? And really began a change and got more people involved to do the same thing to really make a statement. The video, yes. Now, the traditional Chilean instruments. The charango. The charango is a South American stringed instrument, and it belongs to the lute family. It is most of the time tuned in G, C, E, A, E tuning. It is made from armadillo shell. It isn't nowadays, it's mostly just made of wood, but in the past, like when it originally became a thing, the back was made of an armadillo shell, and the rest was wood. It is most of the time like 66 centimeters long, and it was created after the Spaniards came to Chile, and so many believe that was the influence for its creation, especially the Spanish vihuela, which is the one on the right, the bottom right. Many do believe it was also made from, inspired by a mandolin, but that's not as popular of an opinion. The first charango came to be in 1814, and it only fully evolved though later in the 18th century. We can listen.
Un carnavalito que muchos pueden conocer.
El guitarrón chileno. This has 25 strings, and for the most part is always plucked. You can sometimes find it strummed, but it's really most popularly plucked. Around the 16th century is when it came to be, and it is considered a true, authentic Chilean instrument. It features a poet singing and is known for being used as a form of folk music known as el canto del poeta. While it was used for religious and solemn themes, it was also used for humorous and social criticism themes as well. The instrument was popularly used in other genres of native music, including las cuevas, valses, tonadas, y polcas. A little forward to like 250. Sorry.
Se reparten en 5 ordenanzas. Las 5 ordenanzas refieren al verso. Bendito sea Jesús. Bendita sea la luz, bendita la jerarquía. Bendita la luz del día, bendito el sagrado altar.
Okay. The Chilean tiple, not tibble, is similar to both the ones we saw, except it has 12 strings. There are some where there's 10, but for the most part there's 12. Based on the picture, it looks like it's really big, but it's actually the size of a ukulele, and they were very popular in the time ukuleles were a big hit, so around the 1920s and 1930s. They're sometimes used in Hawaiian music, and fun fact is tiple means soprano in Spanish. You can skip to 45 seconds.
Hi, everybody.
language as the siku, in Quechua as Antara, and in Spanish as Samponia. In Andean prehistory, pan flutes were made from bones, condor, feathers, clay, and other materials, but bamboo became the one that was used most commonly and worked best. Most often, there's two rows of different notes, and they're tied together, which are played if they're played alternatively, they cover the diatonic scale. Sikus and the bombos are played in festivals like the Festival of the Virgin de Candelaria in Puno, or Cusco's Inti Rayma Festival, and so on. We can listen to the pan flute. Neither of these instruments are originally from Chile, but they're just really commonly used. They're really popular there. And the bombo is traditionally from Argentina and is made from a hollow tree trunk. It is covered with skin from goat, sheep, and cows, and it was inspired from old military drums. The bombo serves as a combination of percussion and bass for whoever plays it. You can skip to 5 minutes and 45 seconds. La Nueva Canción. So, La Nueva Canción was one of the most important movements that occurred in Chile. It increased the popularity of folk music in the 1970s, including Andean music, but its main and most known goal was touching on political and social struggles that Chile was going through during that time. Though Latin America had found ways in the past to communicate through music what was going on in the country, it had never been more direct than in the Nueva Canción. Artists were murdered, exiled, and suffered arrest for taking a stand with the art they would create. However, hope arose due to it. Nueva Canción not only addressed the issue but created change because they realized if people are getting murdered and exiled because of it, then it really does make a difference to make a statement of what you want with your music. Violeta Parra was the main influencer of it, and she was as a critique of the wealthy and land-owning elite of the Chilean society, as well as of the church and the military, and holding them responsible for Chile's poor. Yes. Next. Okay. So Violeta Parra was born into a large but poor family in the small town of San Carlos. Her father was her music teacher, so she began really young when she created her music and started to make a name for herself. In 1952, she moved to Chile and was able to recover the poetry and the songs from rural Chile, which she used as her exposure to folk music and as her inspiration to La Nueva Canción. Yes, she was a great influence with that. And this just shows how powerful music can be and how it can really make a difference. Because, yes, it changed. Yes.
Does anyone have any questions for Cynthia?
I'm curious as to how they tuned those instruments with 25 strings.
Yeah.
They're a nightmare.
Probably. It took, yeah. It definitely must have. I know that the ones that were joined together were like fairly, some had the same note, so it could be played, I guess, more loud, with more sound. But, yeah. Yes.
It says she was a folk singer-songwriter. Do you know any of her songs?
I don't. Unfortunately, I don't. But I will get on that.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Thank